Would like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast and the PB Church. And just as a reminder, if there's probably imposters that are popping up about the PB Church, and so if you ever, if anybody ever says they're part of the PB Church and asks for money, they're not. And if somebody ever is trying to recruit you away from your current church, they're not really. It's not really a true PB Church. So a true PB Church, they don't ask for money, and they don't try to tell you you shouldn't be going to your current church. That's not PB Church. So this one's going to be this one's going to jump in. We're going to jump in deep, and so this one's going to be interesting. We'll see. We're trying something different today, and so we'll see how it goes. One of the pieces we're going to talk about is control. People who think others are controlling them often are correct that this is happening, but they are missing the most important details. Often they are wrong about who is controlling them and why. Often these people think they're being controlled by others are actually controlled by what others think of them. They want to be thought of well by others, so they make themselves look good. So who is controlling her? Who? The person who seeks to impress others. They have a massive fear of looking bad. Yes, they are imposters and fearful of being exposed for who they really are. They are often pathological liars, and the first person they lie to is themselves. They work for years to convince themselves that they're smart, kind, caring, giving, and righteous by looking good, but under it all, they know who they are and they run from the truth. Over time, they train people around them to just accept them as they are, but think that others are seeing them as they want to be seen, when in fact, the only person they are fooling is themselves. And they are only fooling themselves at the surface level because under it all, they know who they really are at a subconscious level and hate it and run from anyone and everyone who sees them for who they are. So, are they being controlled by people or controlling others? Yes, both of those are happening. Often people who think they're being controlled think that there is one or two people, could be a husband, could be a wife, could be a parent, maybe a father-in-law, who is controlling them and treating them as a child. They see that, they are seeing the truth that others, that other person, other people are treating them like a child, but missing the fact that they are acting like a child. They miss the fact that of fixing things at the core. So they fix things at the symptom. They dismiss things and they don't realize it. They miss the fact of fixing at the core. The 9Ds consume their very DNA. Distract, defy, defer, deflect, defend, deny, destroy, deceive, disguise equals defeat and depression. They hate the truth, run from it, despise it. They seek to create a lie in their own minds and get everyone else to believe it. They make really stupid choices, which put others in danger, shoot their own children in danger. Again, the 9Ds kick in. They seem to never deeply consider or internalize the passage in the Bible where it says, the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who can know it? They get stuck, surround themselves with others who are like them to gain the feeling that they so wantingly desire and believe something that to be true that is not. Yes, they are right. They're being controlled by others, but so very wrong about who is controlling them and why. It's a shame. It's one of the saddest things in the world to see someone stop growing and seemingly are clueless about it. And likely, it's going to pass to future generations. So What's the solution, you may ask? Right? Is it all doom and gloom? And these people, if they probably won't even listen to this, they somehow know I don't want to hear it. They can feel the energy that challenges them. So if you get them to try to listen to this, they probably won't. And it's okay. They're adults. So what do we care, right? So what's the solution, you might say, Mark? Well, Bonhoeffer in the theory of stupidity, he presents this in the most amazing way. And it's been a number of years. I've watched it, I don't know, maybe 100 times, looking for the solution. He identifies it as a moral problem. But but what does that mean? So over the years we've tried, we've tried to go ahead and find the solution, to figure out the solution. But it doesn't seem like Bonhoeffer, at least in what we've seen, provides the solution either. Does the Bible give the solution? If it does, why does it seem that pastors and Christians seem to be vexed with this more than non-Christians? Or maybe I'm just seeing it more because I'm a Christian and was raised in Christian. I wonder, I thought for years, maybe decades, what does it mean when the Bible says working out one's salvation? Is that the solution? Why does it, you know, what does it mean? And why don't pastors preach on this more? I mean, it's not, it's not a complex, concept. I mean, like the Baptist, how I was raised, it's like, you can't do good works to get to heaven. Makes sense. Like, if you could do good works to get to heaven, why would Jesus have died on the cross? That makes no sense. Yep, don't need to do that. Why would you do something like that unless it had to be done for some reason? So what does it mean to work out one's salvation? It's not it's not doing good works. I wonder if it's struggling. If it's like there's tension, there's conflict, there's you know where we're challenging others, like iron sharpening iron. Sometimes I feel that the best, the godliest, the ones that come across and talk about Jesus all the time, sometimes I feel it's almost like wet toilet paper challenging other wet toilet paper. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Karen, she's smiling. I love her smile. Like sometimes, somehow she understands me. So why don't pastors preach about this? Is it because maybe, just maybe, pastors aren't working out their own salvation? Well, I mean, why would that be the case? Is a part of the reason that they just seek to impress, please those in their congregation. So as a pastor's son, so I grew up, my dad was a pastor, you know, my whole life. So these are the things that the PB Church talks about, like questions that you can never ask this question. And it's interesting how many Christians say, my pastor's different. Like my pastor is different. Oh, I I would love to talk to your pastor. I'd love to have your pastor on for the conversation, but pastors, they get up, it's interesting. They get up and they go ahead and talk about faith. But yet, to get on a podcast for 30 minutes, well, who is it? What is it? Where's it going to? I mean, it's all like, what are we going to, like, am I going to get, like, I would think that, like, if you're led by the Holy Spirit, I would think that you could have enough faith to have a 30-minute conversation. But they aren't. And it's strange. There just happened recently where a couple said, oh, our pastor, yeah, and then when I go to the church and he gives me an answer to something I've been looking to for years. I thought it was the most amazing. Like, it was like, man, that was amazing. So people misunderstand me. Pastors misunderstand me. Trust me, I'm not trying to steal their sheep. Like I am not. Been there, done that. Don't want to do that. What I'm seeking is how about if we have another concept that, well, why don't we build the sheep into sheepdogs so we're not like, anyways, I've spoken enough. Jill, any thoughts or questions that you have?
Not at this exact moment.
Zana, any thoughts or questions you have?
Well, our granddaughters were sitting here listening,
Oh,
and they were,
girls, sorry, Grandpa didn't know that. What you have to have, everybody, because sometimes Grandpa gets a little salty on these. And so, er, if in the future there are people that are participating, listening in the background, you must tell me. Jojo and Allie, who are 8-year-old twin granddaughters, they're staying at Grandpa's house last night. And so in the future, fortunately, Grandpa didn't get too salty on this one. And so now I'm thinking, but in the
right,
future, as a rule, you always go ahead and let. It's not because I'm afraid, it's just because context.
being smart.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out the answer to your question. So
Ooh, they
they
might.
said that
Go.
what did she say? JoJo said, "Is God's the answer?"
Well, that's what Christians go ahead and say. God's the answer. Jesus is the answer. The Bible's the answer. Well, if that's the case, how come? like, I remember when our two youngest sons were 3 and 5 years old, and they went to church, a good Bible preaching church like this was a good fundamental church. And we'd come home, and we all seven of the kids and mom and dad would be around the table for Sunday lunch. We'd go around the table and we'd say, "What'd you learn in Sunday school today?" And they all knew what they learned in Sunday school. Then we'd say, "How do you apply it to your life?" Like, what? Like, if we're not going to apply it, why even? It just, like the Bible says, knowledge puffeth up. Ask that. Girls, ask your Sunday school teacher or your pastor. Go up and say, "Pastor," always treat them with respect. Say, "Pastor, Sunday school, like, I was just curious, like, what does the Bible mean about knowledge puffing up?" Like, that is the greatest question. I, I've never had a pastor give what I consider to be a strong answer on it. See, I think the answer to knowledge puffing up, how to prevent it, because when you think about it, well, you go to Bible college to gain knowledge, you go to church to gain knowledge, you go to Sunday school to gain knowledge. And so the Bible says knowledge puffeth up. Like, you mean going to church and Sunday school can puff you up? Uh-huh. This is what happened with the Jews and the religious leaders and all of these things. So how do you prevent that from happening? You do it. You go out and do it. You actually apply what you're learning because it never works. And then you become humble and you go back and you go back to the source again. There's an internalization model. We won't go into this time, but maybe next time about it. So, girls, so glad that you're on. Hopefully, you'll say good things. You're free to obviously talk to your mom about anything. Be careful when you hear something, when you think Grandpa said something. You're free to talk to your mom anytime you want, or you can talk to Grandpa and say, "Grandpa, this is what I heard you say. Is this what you meant to say?" Because sometimes we hear pieces. We're not the best communicators, or maybe we're not the best listeners as well. And so great to have you on today, girls. Love to have you. All right, Nora, you got anything?
On that specifically would be like I've always thought it was interesting, like the work out your salvation and what all that means. So yeah, I don't know, I think that's a very interesting topic.
It is a very interesting topic. I mean, it's funny because Baptists, GRBC Baptists, the one I was raised in, like, man, they don't like when I say, "Yeah, this," because they believe in predestination and election. It's almost like I do. I think they're going to stand before holy God someday. And if God goes and says, Mark, there's 1,000 people in hell because you didn't take the opportunity to share Christ with them, I think a lot of Baptists are going to be like, oh, excuse me, God. Whoa, God. And then they're going to whip out their Bible and say, here's why it's not my fault that they're in hell. Like, it's not mine. And and they think God's going to go, ooh, I never thought of scripture that way before. You're right. You're fine. Does God use sarcasm? Jesus did. He did. Like, when you use sarcasm, just like being like Jesus, there's a little dangerous here. So Karen has a little better understanding. I got a little sass at the pickleball court, and she's got sass to match it too. I like her a lot. Karen, your thoughts on any of this?
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We can.
Oh, right now I'm just absorbing everything that you're saying.
There's a lot there, isn't there?
There is.
Does anybody know what Karen's thinking right now? She's like, this is what she's thinking. It might be on a subconscious basis. This dude is a lot stranger. I mean, I thought he was strange. Like her and her sister. I don't know. They're like, Mark, how come you're not smiling?
Oh,
Like on the pickleball court, only when you win or something, I guess. And it's like, well, I mean, so Kofi Odam, I remember him. He did, I don't know, this is 20 years ago. And he played volleyball with me at the church. And he came up to me, that next Monday. And he says, Mark, when we were playing volleyball at the church, I said, yeah. He says, you didn't smile. I said, okay. So is that a problem? And he's like, well, yeah. I said, why? He says, Jesus smiled. I said, it says in the Bible, Jesus wept. It never says Jesus smiled. And he said, yeah, but he did. I said, how do you know? He said, because the little children came up to him, and little children won't come up to somebody that's not smiling. I said, ooh, that's a good one. They didn't teach that in Sunday school. So since Karen and her sister told me to smile, I'm smiling. Does anybody know what the problem is smiling is?
no.
There's a huge problem. Everybody comes up to you and thinks you're a nice person. Then they want to talk to you. Then they say, how are you doing today? And I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I get all confused and frustrated. I'm like, it depends how I look at things. And then they say, well, what do you mean it depends? And then I get into this long conversation that can often lead into a spiritual conversation. It's like, oh, you don't want to do that. Like, I just want to be there to play pickleball. Like, I just want to be there, play pickleball. So, no, Karen's fun to play pickleball with for sure. This is the the white paper I wrote years ago, Why I Choose Not to Succeed. And so it's worldview. And so one worldview is focus on fixing others. It's everybody else's issue. And people who do that, smart, they're often smart people, do really good in school. They're the ones that look really smart, and they know a lot of Bible often. And so but they're always fixing other people. And so the 9 Ds to defeat is distract, divide, defer, deflect, defend, deny, destroy, deceive, disguise equals defeat, and depression. Like, pastors have huge depression issues. My dad did as a pastor, and nobody addresses it. Now, dumb people are often open to input from everybody else. For me, I'm just dumb. I'm just like, I don't know, Jojo and Allie, they could go ahead and come up with a solution that Grandpa couldn't come up with. Like, they could actually, I've had this happen where young children go, here's the answer. I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. So they're open to anyone's input, regardless of motive. They're not concerned about somebody's motive. Now, girls, you need to be concerned because you're girls and you're young. You need to be. So what Grandpa's saying is, as you mature, you don't need to worry about motives. Women need to worry about motives more than men, I think. But as a general, you're not like, is their motive if it's not physical, you don't have to fear them. You've got the truth. Now, again, girls, that's when you get, to be an adult. You don't have to worry about their age, their experience, their education, their relationship. You can learn from anyone at any time. It doesn't matter who it is. 7 P's to prosperity: passion, purpose, plan, potentiality, positivity, persistence, perspective equals prosperity. So it's really cool that, Ginger Ann, the girl's mother's on, so she can hear. She's a little nervous because Joe, she goes with me. She goes with me every Thursday, and we do a business meeting in Shipshewana with Alvin Miller, who owns the Mercantile. And Alvin once said, we were talking. We talk about everything. He's like in his mid 80s. This guy, like, wow. And this is when I learned, man, Mark, I don't know. So life's complicated. Anyways, we'll share that story another time because Nora had something, I think or Ginger Ann, sorry. Ginger Ann, did you have anything? Any comments, questions, thoughts on the other?
No, I'm feeling good.
Great to have you on. Great to have your girls on. Okay. So, Nora, you had something else that you had prepared that you were hoping to address.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the phrase "let me know if."
Okay. I don't know
Um,
if and normally when somebody says something like that, I'm like, ooh, that's a really I haven't had that one before. So if you can share the backstory of that, like what, and you don't have, I mean, I don't know what it is, so share whatever you can about, so we have some context.
yeah, so it's like when you like, let's say you're talking with someone and they're struggling in an area, and you say like, "Let me know if," let's say you need help, or
Gotcha.
and I'm guilty of doing this, and so it's like, doesn't that kind of put it back on them?
It does.
So it's like if you thought about doing something for the person or whatever, and you say, "Let me know if," like, why don't you just do it? Because more than likely that person's not gonna come back and say, "Hey, like you did say if most of the time they're not.
Right.
So by saying, "Let me know if," you're actually putting it back on them.
Right.
I don't know, I just like
Right. No, I think I'm
okay.
tracking you, and this is the challenge: is that a lot of times people, they're they're people's brain. It seems like people's brains, and I'm not saying it's because of TikTok or Facebook or any of the social media that people's brains have atrophied. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that often people looking for black or white. Like it's all black, it's all right, it's all this, it's all that. It's like that's not really how life seems to work. And so, do you see, Nora, on how just doing it that often doesn't work so well either?
At times. Yeah.
Yeah, so the discernment, that's the thing that's so hard.
Hey, Nora,
Yes.
do you think that, and I'm guilty of this, but I know I've told people, let me know if you need help with whatever, you know, and I genuinely mean it, but I don't expect them to follow through. Um, and I think I say it a lot of times. I mean, if they would respond and tell me, yeah, they need help with something, I would go ahead and do it. But
Mhm.
I think a lot of times I'm guilty of this. I say it, but it's just f- I think it's for my benefit more than theirs.
See, this is what I love about Jill is that she's self-aware. Like when I say something about women, a lot of women get poosty, they get sassy. They're like, hey. Jill's like, nah, that's true. Like my mom, like, nope, that's true. Um, yeah, I'm being selfish. It's for my own benefit. Like that's to me, that's being self-aware. And so is that a preamble? Is that practice for working out one's salvation? Like, when do I just do it? Because there's advantages. Because what Nora's saying, if I understand what she's saying, which I might not, but if I understand what she's saying, she's absolutely right. Where just do it. But the downside of just doing it is like it's like the caterpillar, cocoon principle, where if you and I, super loving people, like we're just loving people, we're so loving. And we go in the forest and we're walking through and we see a caterpillar that's breaking free of the cocoon into a butterfly. Butterfly was a caterpillar breaking free, and because we're so generous, because we're so loving, because we're so caring, we so carefully, because we're the super nice people that we are, cut that cocoon open and let that butterfly become free, because we don't want it to go through the pain that it's going to go through. What's going to happen to that butterfly? That butterfly is going to die. It's going to die of one of two ways. It's either because the breaking free, the struggle is what fills the membranes of the wings, and so it can't fly. So it's going to get eaten by a predator. It's going to starve to death. Those are its two options. And I think a lot of times Christians are like that, where they have good intentions, but those good intentions harm other people. And so, as promised, every like 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes. And so anything beyond 30 minutes is a gift from you to me to you, and us to one another. And so if you guys if anybody needs to take off, you can take off. You don't have to excuse yourself. You can just take off. So I think, Nora, do we tell people that we're struggling? Like, I don't know. Like, I can see how if I did this, it might hurt you. And this is what's hard, because often, like, why don't people ask for help? Like, if you offer help, like and like, why don't they? Well, it could be a number of reasons. I think one reason they don't ask for help is they feel guilty. Like, I kind of got myself into this situation, so I need to get myself out. Did you? You might not 100%. It's not 100% you. And there's a blessing in other people helping you. Is it because of pride? Could be. Like, I don't want anybody's help. So it could be that. Is it because of fear? It could be. Is it because of hopelessness or helplessness? It could be that. It could be all of those things. And so I think, it's like working out salvation. It's like you're trying to, like, I don't want to hurt you, and I might by helping you, by stepping in and doing this, and I don't want to do this. And so it takes a lot of work. It's just hard work. And I think what's hard is every person's different and every situation's different. But yeah, I get it. Not easy. Anything else, Nora, on that?
No, I don't think so.
Anybody else have anything else? All right. So, yeah, I don't know, ran into Karen and said something, invited her to PB Church. And so, it's like, hey, I mean, you kind of got to explain it a little bit. It's Paul Barnabas. And so the girls, they asked me last night, they said, Grandpa, Jojo, I think it was, that asked me, she said, Grandpa, you going to church with us today? I said, well, Grandpa's got, his own church he's going to. Well, which one? And PB, what's that? And it's Paul Barnabas. Well, what does that mean? And I got a chance to explain it to him. And, so I think a lot of times churches are possessional, like, and so PB Church isn't. It's totally different than anything else. It's not saying you need to stop going to your church. It's not that at all. It's 30 minutes, unless you want to stay longer. It's 30 minutes. And hopefully it helps to enrich whichever church you're going to. And if you're not going to, any church, that's okay too. I mean, it's up to you, right? It's your life. It's your choice. It's whatever it is. I'm a big believer, in traditional church. Did that for 62 years. And I'm very thankful and learned a lot and grew a lot from it. So, if you're listening to the rebroadcast of this, you have any questions, it's on Sundays. It's at 7:00 Eastern time. And you just go to www.ravingfan, RAVINGFAN, all one word, ravingfan.net. And you join. And if you join, you don't have to put your name up. You don't have to go ahead and say anything. You can just sit in the background if you want. It's a little crazy. It's a little out there. Or you can participate if you want. That's totally up to you. Whatever you want to do is fine. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.